Hello my friends, welcome to Joey's Pandas tutorial series. In this video, you will learn how to bring data to life by the plotting of charts. I will teach you in this video how to visually explore data using pandas by plotting histograms, bar charts, line charts, scatter plot, and many more. So without further ado, let's move to the Jupyter lab. Alright, this is my Jupyter lab in which I have taken the liberty to create a new notebook and write the code to create a data frame that holds stock market data. To be specific, it contains closing prices of the three stocks for 7 days and their trading volumes on those days. Let me execute this code block to see our stock market data frame. There you go, we have our data frame containing stock market data ready. In addition to pandas, we'll require one more Python library that is super powerful, that helps in creating static, animated, and interactive visualizations in Python. This library is known as matplotlib, and we can't even think of data visualization in Python without matplotlib. But before importing matplotlib, we'll have to first install matplotlib. To do that, we are going to write !pip install matplotlib. We are going to run this piece of code. You can see I'm having a ton of requirement already satisfied messages because I already had matplotlib installed. If you haven't installed it already, then you are going to see all the messages related to the installation of matplotlib. Now we are going to proceed. We'll have to import matplotlib. But we are going to import a specific module from matplotlib which we are going to use for data visualization, and that will be pyplot. So we'll write from matplotlib import pyplot as plt. What we are doing, we are importing pyplot from matplotlib. Pyplot is a module in the matplotlib library. We import it as plt to give it a short alias. This is a convention widely used in Python data science. Now we are going to proceed towards learning how to do line plots that show trends over time. But before that, we execute this block of code and it got executed successfully. Now we are going to write stock underscore data, which is our data frame. And within square brackets, we'll have another set of square brackets within which we'll write AAPL, that is the ticker for Apple. Then we'll write GOOG, that's the ticker for Google. And we are going to write MSFT, that's the ticker for Microsoft. All right. So what we are doing here, we are selecting the three columns from our stock market data frame. Okay. And now we are going to write dot plot. Because we have to create a line chart on the closing prices of these stocks, so the function we are going to use to do the same will be plot. Within whose brackets we'll write fig size. Alright, okay, it has to be size equals to, within brackets we'll write 10, 5. Okay. Now this is going to set the figure size. This is going to affect the width and the height of the figure of the chart. And now we are going to give our chart a title. Okay. So after comma, we are going to write title equals to, within single quotes, we'll write stock prices over time. Okay. I could have written Apple, Google, and Microsoft stock prices over time, but that would have taken more time. So I just labeled my chart as stock prices over time. We will now label the x-axis and the y-axis of the chart. To do that, we are going to write plt dot x label, and we are going to label the x-axis as date, and we'll write plt dot y label, and we are going to label the y-axis as price in dots. While pandas has a built-in plot method, thanks to its integration with matplotlib, anytime we want to customize plots more precisely, example, if we want to add titles or labels or grids or arrange subplots or show or save the plot manually, we use plt directly. Consider this plt, that is an alias for pyplot, as handle to matplotlib's plotting function. with that in mind, we'll proceed to introducing grid on the chart. To do that, we are going to write plt dot grid, and within brackets, we'll write true. Finally, using the show method, we are going to display the chart. So we'll write plt dot show. Now, are you ready to see it? Are you excited? Because I am. So let's execute this code block and see our line chart. And there you go. This chart shows you the prices of Apple, Google, and Microsoft trending over the 7-day period from 1st of Jan 2023 to 7th of Jan 2023. You can see the label that we have on x-axis and the label that we have on y-axis. A couple of things before we proceed ahead. The fixed size parameter over here helps you to adjust the size of the chart. The first parameter represents the width and the second parameter represents the height. Let's reduce the width first by 2 points. So I'm going to put 8 over here and then run it again. You can see the change yourself. Let's now reduce the height too, because this reduced chart is looking more cute to me. So we reduce the height by 2 points again. So let's make it 3. And let's run the code. The chart's height is reduced, but it doesn't look so hot to me. So I'm going to go back to 5. All right. Okay, this looks better. Also, if you don't want this grid to be displayed, you see these lines over here. If you don't want this grid to be displayed in your chart, then you can replace true with false over here, and it will stop introducing grid in your chart like this. One more thing to notice here is that Pandas uses the index as the x-axis automatically. The index was the date, and it has been used as the x-axis already. Alright, we learned a lot in our first chart about pyplot and how to plot the data in a Pandas data frame in a line chart. Let's now move to plotting this data in a histogram. So we are going to write stock underscore data. That's our data frame, and within 2 sets of square brackets, we are going to write within single quotes AAPL. Because we are plotting a histogram. Histograms are used to show how frequently price ranges occur. And we want to see through this histogram how frequently the price ranges of Apple stock occur. Now we are going to make use of the plot function, and we'll use a parameter within it known as kind. And its value we are going to set up as hist. So hist represents histograph. And it's very much self-explanatory that kind parameter over here represents the type of chart that we are interested in plotting. After this, we are going to use another parameter, bins, whose value we'll set up as white. I would like my histogram to be sky blue in color. Hence, color I'll set up as sky blue. And I would like the edges of my histogram to be colored in black. So I'm going to use the parameter edge color, whose value I'm going to set up as black. In the next line, we are going to set up the title of this histogram. So we are going to use plt dot title function, and within single quotes, we'll write Apple price distribution. All right. And we are going to give its x-axis a label. So it will be plt dot x label, and the label of x-axis this time will be price, and I'm going to label the y-axis as well. So I'm going to use plt dot y label for that, and the label of the y-axis this time will be frequency. Okay. Now I'm going to simply use plt dot show to see our histogram. Are you ready to see our histogram? Okay, let's execute this code block. And there you go. What we are doing here, we are trying to show how frequently price ranges occur. So you can see that the price range that lies between 175 and a little after 177 occurs only once. And the price range that starts just after 177 or from 177 and ends just before 180 occurs twice. And you can validate this yourself from the data frame that we created. Now, you may have noticed that we used this parameter pins, whose value we set up as 5. What it did is that it divided the data range into 5 equal width intervals. Matplotlib calculates the bin width and counts how many values fall into each bin to set bar heights. If we change bins to 2, then it will divide the entire set of values into 2 intervals and accordingly create a histogram. Let's check that. There you go. Now the entire set of values is divided into 2 intervals only. Let me change it back to 5 because that looked pretty elegant. If someone asks you to show the comparison of last day's prices of the 3 stocks, how would you show it? Of course, we'll think in the direction of creating a bar plot. And your thinking is 100% accurate. So why not we do it over here? So first, we are going to take out the latest prices. And how do we do that? We are going to use the ilog function on our data frame. So within the square brackets of ilog, we are going to use -1 because we are trying to slice out the prices of the last day. So after this, within 2 sets of square brackets, we'll write our 3 columns that represent the 3 stocks. Let's do that. Okay, so this is going to give us the latest prices. Let's check that out as well. There you go. Do they represent the latest prices? 187, 127, 320. Let's check that out. Yes, they represent the last row of our data frame. Now, on this latest prices, we are going to use the plot function, and this time the kind will be bar because we are interested in plotting a bar plot. And I want Apple's bar to be green, Google's bar to be orange, and Microsoft's bar to be purple. So we'll pass a list of colors to the color parameter this time. And that list of colors will hold green for Apple, orange for Google, and purple for Microsoft. And the title is going to be latest closing prices. For this bar plot, we are going to label the y-axis as price. Price, price in dots. And in the next line, we'll write plt dot x ticks, within whose brackets we'll write rotation equals to 0. Using x ticks, you can customize the tick marks and labels on the x-axis of a plot. Rotation equals to 0 specifies the rotation angle of the tick labels. You will properly understand it when you are going to see the bar plot yourself. We are going to add grid lines to this bar plot, so we'll write plt dot grid, and this time we are going to write within its brackets axis equals to y within single quotes. This adds grid lines to a plot specifically along the y-axis. Finally, we'll write plt.show. And are you excited to see our bar plot? Let's execute this code block. And there you go. It looks beautiful. These 3 bars represent the 3 stocks, and we have prices on the y-axis. Now let's change the rotation to 45 and see the impact. You are going to see the impact over here. Let's execute this code block. All right, there you go. The ticks on the x-axis have been rotated at an angle of 45 degrees. More specifically, the labels on the x-axis have been rotated at an angle of 45 degrees. How about creating a horizontal bar plot? So we are going to write latest underscore prices dot plot. Within its brackets, we'll write kind equals to, within single quotes, we'll write bar h. Notice Bar H makes all the difference. Horizontal bar charts improve readability when labels are long or many. The next parameter is going to be color, and this time we are going to color all the bars in coral. All right. Title will again be latest, latest closing prices. This time we'll have to set the X label. So we are going to mark it as price in dollar. And of course, the grid we are going to set as true. And finally, we'll write plt dot show. Let's run this. And there you go. There you go. This time, all the bars are in the same color. We have grids along both x-axis and y-axis. Price is on the x-axis now, and the bars are horizontal. Okay, so the bar edge makes all the difference. Now, what if someone asks you a question in an interview that how would you depict if higher price means higher volume? Basically, you are asked to visualize a relationship between price and volume. Your answer is going to be a scatter plot, which helps illustrate how changes in one variable or data point affects another. Here we'll plot a scatter plot between apple price and volume. We'll thus write stock underscore data dot plot. Within brackets, we'll write kind equals to, within single quotes, we'll write scatter. All right. This time there will be a new parameter x. Its value we are going to set up as AAPL. We will have another parameter y. Its value we are going to set up as volume. And the title is going to be Apple price versus volume. Okay. Let's give it a color. Let's give it a color. Let the color be teal. Of course, I would want a grid behind this chart, so I'll write plt dot grid. Within its brackets, we are going to write true, and finally, I'll write plt dot show. Let's run this piece of code. Okay, I want to run it like this so that the scatter plot appears like this. There you go. There you go. We have Apple's price coming on the x-axis and volume coming on the y-axis. Okay. And we did it in a new way by defining the x and y variables within the brackets of the plot function. So this scatter plot shows the relationship between Apple stock's price and volume. It looks like when the price was high, the stock was traded more, except here. Okay, but that's none of my business. No tutorial on charts is complete unless we create a pie chart. So we'll now learn how to create a pie chart on a Pandas data frame. For that, we are going to create a new data frame, which will hold market capitalization values for these companies. This way, using pie chart, we can show their relative market sizes. In the interest of time, I'm going to copy and paste the code to create a small data frame with real world company names and their estimated market cap. You can see this line of code sets the company names as the index, so they appear as labels in the pie chart. Let's see our data frame before we plot the pie chart. So I'm going to execute this block of code, and there you go. We have the companies listed in the company column and their corresponding market caps. And these are estimated figures, and they are totally fake, so don't mistake them to be legitimate. Now let's begin plotting a pie chart for market cap distribution. So we are going to write market underscore caps. That's our data frame. Within its square brackets, we are going to write market cap underscore TN USD. That represents market capitalization in trillion USD. Actually, this M has to be capital. We are plotting the values in the market capitalization in trillion USD column as a pie chart. So we are going to make use of the plot function again. Nothing is much different. We are going to use the parameter kind, whose value we are going to set as pi. Very much self-explanatory. Now we are going to use a parameter known as auto PCT. And its value we are going to set up as percentage 1.1 F percentage. So what this parameter is going to do with this value? It is going to display percentages with one decimal. And now we are going to use another parameter known as start angle, and its value we are going to set up as 140. What it is going to do, it is going to rotate the chart for a cleaner look. Finally, we are going to use pick size, and this time its value will be 7,7. It will ensure the chart is a circle and clearly visible. And we want to hide the default y-axis label this time. So we are going to set up y label, and that we can do within the plot function itself as nothing. Finally, we are going to write plt.show. Now, are you excited to see our pie chart? Because I am. And more than that, I have been very much excited to teach you all this stuff. So let me run this code block. And there you go. Looks nice, right? Looks like Apple has the most market share, followed by Microsoft, in Nvidia, Alphabet, and Amazon. Now, since Apple has the biggest market share in the world of this video tutorial, then how about sticking out the Apple's piece of pie for some dramatic exploding effects? So we create a new list. We call it explode. And after the equals to sign, within square brackets, we write 0.1, comma 0, comma 0, comma 0. Actually, there will be one more 0 because there are 5 companies, right? Yes. Okay. So this creates a small offset. 0.1 here as the first element is for Apple slice, pulling it out slightly from the center. The other companies have 0, so their slices remain flush with the pie. Now what we are going to do, we are going to copy this entire piece of code and paste it over here. And within the plot function, we are going to add another parameter known as explode. And its value, we are going to set up as this list explode. Actually, to avoid conflict, let me rename this list as explode underscore val and set the same as its value. Okay. All right. Now let me run this code block. And there you go. Can you see Apple's piece of pie sticking out? Doesn't it look great? If you want more dramatic effect, then you can change the value from 0.1 to 0.2. Let's run this piece of code and there you go. It sticks out more. But I think 0.1 was better. And now we have come to the final part of this video. We will look into plotting multiple charts side by side using the subplots function. So let's start writing the code for that. We are going to write fig, comma, axs equals to plt.subplot, and within brackets we are going to write 1, comma 2, comma fig size, which will be 12, comma 5. Okay, what are we doing here? This line of code creates a figure with 1 row and 2 columns of subplots. First of all, fig over here is the overall figure container. Axis over here is a list-like array of 2 axis objects. Fig size, you know already, sets the overall size of the entire figure in inches. We will now write the code to plot a line chart of Google stock prices over time. To do that, we are going to write stock underscore data. Yes, that's our old data frame. Within its square brackets, we'll write GOOG. That stands for Google. That's the ticker sign of Google. Dot plot. Within its brackets, we'll write kind equals to, within single quotes, we write line, comma, ax, that means axis, will be axs, and within square brackets, it will be 0. The title will be Google's price over time. All right. Ax equals to axs within square bracket 0. This expression That means we have set up the AX parameter with the AXS within square bracket 0. That means the first element of this array AXS, it means this plot will be drawn on the first subplot, that means on the left hand side. All right. Now we are going to write the code to plot a histogram of Google's top prices. So the code will be stock underscore data within square brackets, within single quotes, we'll write G double O G. Right, I'm missing something over here. Am I? Oh, let me remove apostrophe S. Otherwise, it will throw me an error. Now, coming back to our histogram code, we'll write plot within brackets, we'll write find equals to within single quotes, it will be hist, comma, AX. This time it will be AXS within square brackets 1. That means the second element of our array. And the title will be Google Price Distribution. Let me give it a color. Let me color it in light blue this time, the histogram. And of course, its edges will be black. Okay. So this histogram is going to show how often certain price ranges occur. Now we are going to start a simple loop. So we'll write for AX in AXS, a simple loop that goes through both subplots. That means the element at index 0 and the element at index 1. Within the loop, we are going to write AX dot grid, and within its brackets, we'll write true. So what we are doing, we are adding a grid to each subplot for better readability. Next, we are going to use a function tight layout, more specifically tight underscore layout. So we'll write plt dot tight underscore layout. What it does, it automatically adjusts the spacing between plots and labels to prevent overlap. It makes sure that titles, X's, and labels that you have on your charts don't get cut off or overlap with each other. And finally, we'll write plt.show. Okay. And you know that it renders and displays the figure. And this time it is going to display the figure with both subplots. Okay. Are you ready to see two side-by-side plots? Let me execute this block of code. Oh, and this has thrown an error. Let me see what mistake I have made. Let's see what it says. Type error, subplot takes 1 or 3 positional arguments, but 2 were given. Oh, I mistakenly wrote subplot. The actual function is subplots. So I missed an S over here. Okay, my bad. Let me again run this piece of code. Oh, there is an error again. And this time it's a spelling mistake. There is no color as BLKC. It has to be black. And there you go. After 2 failed tries, I am finally successful. These are my 2 plots side by side. The left plot is a line chart showing how Google prices changed over time, and the right chart is a histogram showing how frequently different price ranges of Google stock occurred. This combined view is excellent for trend versus distribution analysis. And that's a wrap on this video. I hope you enjoyed learning to plot charts on Pandas Dataframe. Do subscribe to my channel Joey's Tech if you want to crack technical interviews or are having difficulty learning programming. Also visit my Pandas tutorial series to become a master in Pandas. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, goodbye and take very good care of yourself.